All right, guys, the time has come, and we're going to talk about Halloween Kills. And I actually watched this last night. This review will be put up a day after I watched Halloween Kills because I did not have any time to review this. I had so many things to do uh, after last night. I stayed up really late because, of course, it premiered on Peacock, and I wasn't able to go see it in the theater last night because I worked late. But then Peacock released it early, so I watched it on Peacock, and I'm gonna see it in the theater as well. I gotta wait until I'm off again. I've just been busy with work, but of course I was not gonna miss this if there was a way to easily watch it, and Peacock was an easy way to watch it. So I love the Halloween franchise. I think it is my favorite horror franchise. Like, I know people are like, "Oh, that's so cliched," but I really, legitimately do love the franchise, and I can watch them anytime. I watch them all every year, no matter what. Um, and this is going to be a weird one because I'm going to review Halloween Kills without spoilers. Then I'm going to review it with spoilers. So as of now, this will be the initial review, and then after the initial review, I'll say it's time for spoilers. So, the initial review for this and the basic story of this without spoiling it. If you've seen the trailers, I'm not spoiling anything. Um, Michael Myers has escaped from the burning house, and Laurie Strode is taken to the hospital, and Karen and Allison are worried about her while Michael breaks out and starts killing again. And members from the original movie come back: Tommy, Lindsay, Lonnie, and Marion. And they come back to fight back against Michael Myers. And the town rallies up against Michael Myers. And that's the basic plot. I'll give this without spoilers. That's to me pretty spoiler free because the trailer showed all that. So without spoiling it, it's so weird with this one because I was on a big hype train because I really liked Halloween Kills. Despite having some issues with it, like every Halloween sequel, I really dug it. It's definitely a mixture of like Halloween H2O and like the original Halloween 2018. When H2O did a couple things better, but 2018 overall I thought was really good, and it had problems definitely, but I really really loved it and dug it. And then I was excited because Halloween Kills just sounded like it was up in the ante. And every review I've heard, it's like, it is great. It is so fantastic. It's a masterpiece. And hold it right there. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece. Honestly, so I'm going to watch this again. I'm going to see this in the theater a second time. I feel like I have to see it again quickly because I didn't love this movie. And I'm actually really bummed because there are some great positives I can give this. Without spoilers, I can give this some great positives. The acting is great. The gore is fantastic. The score is good, like the other one, but there aren't as many more memorable music in this one, but the score is still great, like the last one. So the acting, the score, the gore, great. Seeing those characters from that return from the original movie is great, like Tommy, Lindsay, Lonnie, and Marion. That's all great. That's awesome to see them back. I love seeing them back. Loved all that stuff. Um, so those are my big positives about it. But oh, and the beginning as well. The beginning of the movie is really really good, and I won't spoil it here until I talk about spoilers. The beginning is really freaking good. The ending I thought was good. It wasn't the best final act out of all of them, but it was still good. Like it really, it's weird because it's those are my positives for it, and here are my more negative thoughts about it. I feel like this movie, with the marketing of this, it just annoyed me because we know there's going to be a third Halloween movie. So the way they marketed it, they're like, oh, they're going to kill Michael Myers. Oh, Laurie Strode's going to fight Michael Myers. Like, they've really made the trailers feel like it's going to be the movie that it isn't. And that's what Halloween Ends is going to be, I'm assuming. This movie was not that. It was definitely not a movie like the last one. And that's also a positive too, because the movie, I did appreciate how different the movie was. Even though it's still a slasher, I thought the story was different than the other one, the 2018 one. And the continuation with the characters I thought was good. But like I said, my negatives are that it really feels like a second movie, and that's not a positive. It feels like it's the movie that's trying to be the movie that we know is not going to be the end of it, but they're making it feel like it is in the marketing. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, wow, this kind of didn't lead much anywhere. It really didn't feel like much happened. And that really bummed me out because I really was expecting different. Like in 2018 Halloween, I love the fact that even though it wasn't, of course, it wasn't going to be the last one, I love the fact that it felt almost for the most part complete. This one does not feel complete. It ends on a giant cliffhanger, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I literally just went to look at the screen, and I'm like, what? And then it ended. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's just not, it's a part two. Of course, it's a part two in a trilogy after the first movie. So like this one is so weird because it's not going to be fulfilling on its own. I feel like the elements of it really work. The slasher elements, the Michael Myers portrayal is fantastic by James Jude Courtney. The acting is great. The score is really good. But it just feels like a second movie, and it doesn't feel like much happens. And it feels like nothing really is escalated or changed. And you also get the shit in the trailer where it's like, the town's all against Michael Myers. We're going to all fight Michael Myers. We're going to fight back against the evil. And it annoys me because I like that idea, but it felt so like I don't know, like political in a way where it was just annoying. Like it didn't feel like it was really that smartly done. It was just they were just saying, "Oh, this guy did all this harm to us. Let's go and break shit." And like it reminded me of real life parallels, and it just was I don't like whenever movies do that. I really feel like whenever you have movies that do this kind of typical stuff, it doesn't work for me because I feel like it takes me out of the movie because you're dealing with in real life kind of thing, and it's not it doesn't work for me that way. It wasn't terrible, but it was like it really didn't feel like it worked that well. The angle where it's like the town is against him. Um, so yeah, that was another negative. I think, like I said, for the most part, the biggest thing is just it feels like it's the most forgettable one out of the new ones. It really feels like these characters really didn't go anywhere, like in this one. And I know that the next one, they're going to be like, oh, these characters are going to hopefully feel different. But like, again, I can't spoil much about this yet. Like I said, with the characters, the three main leads, three main girls, Lori, Karen, and Allison, they don't really change. They really are the same as they were in the last movie, and it feels like there's a standstill in this movie. Then in the next movie, it's going to be a big like climactic, like these characters change kind of thing. But it didn't really feel like much of consequence happened in this movie, even though it was the biggest and bloodiest one. And I liked the gore. It was fantastic and gross, but it felt so empty. Like it felt like an empty movie. Like I don't feel like the characters went that much into any direction, and there were just a lot of nameless killings. Which, I mean, I love slasher movies, but I just feel like with Halloween, the 2018 one, did that way better. Where I felt like these characters was more interested in that one. Even though I did really like Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy Doyle, and I thought that was a great surprise because Tommy Doyle has been played by like three people now: Brian Andrews, Paul Rudd, and now Anthony Michael Hall. And I guess if you count Halloween 4, that one guy that was Tommy, but maybe not Tommy Doyle, But Anthony Michael Hall was a real good addition to this, and I like that. I liked seeing Lindsay and Marion as well. That was cool seeing them in the movie. And Lonnie was interesting because this character was in the first movie, the first original Halloween, but like he's barely in it, so like it's weird to have him in this. But I liked what they did with him. I thought it was fine. Um, so the beginning and the end, I think, are good. I won't spoil what they are yet, but the beginning and the end are good. The middle is fine. It's whatever. It's not anything special, but it feels like the movie, to me, just feels kind of hollow. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot in this movie, and I want to be not biased because I love the slasher elements. I loved how gory it was. I loved how fun it was with Michael, like just slashing people left and right. This is the biggest body count apparently out of all the Halloween movies, and I could see that. It's just as brutal, or even more brutal than Rob Zombie's movies, which is a big step, or a big pill to swallow, because those movies were gross and disgusting in a cool way. But this one is really really gory, and more so even than that, which is genuinely surprising. Um, but I just feel like the movie, I loved things about it, but I just did not. I didn't love the movie, but I like things. I love things about it. Like I said, I loved the kills, the gore, Michael Myers. If the movie with him in it is great. The stuff with Laurie Allison and Karen is good, but they don't go anywhere. And I know it's because we got the third one, but it just feels kind of hollow as a movie. But I still liked a lot of things about it. It's not like I hated it. I definitely didn't hate it at all. I thought it was still good. Um, and pretty much that's all I'm going to say for spoiler free thoughts. And then I'm going to delve right into spoilers because I've got to do it. I'm of course going to talk about spoilers for this movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, be warned. If you're the one of two people that haven't seen it in the world, be warned. But spoiler time. So the movie opens up in a really cool way. So you know how I said I love the opening. The opening is after it shows Cameron from 2018 finding Will Patton, Frank, finding him stabbed from Sartain. After that, it cuts to 1978 and shows a young Frank chasing down Michael Myers, and with his other guy that he's with, the other cop, and young Lonnie like encounters Michael Myers and is scared that Michael's going to kill him. And I thought that in terms of genuine replication of the first movie, this is one of the coolest recreations of a movie ever. Like, this feels, the opening of this movie that's in 1978 feels almost exactly like you are watching the movie straight up from the original movie. Like, it is a straight up continuation. It looks so legit in how it looks exactly the same. They had all the lighting perfect. They had all the shots perfect. They had all the fuzziness of the 1978 film to make it look just like that in the flashback. It was so cool. And the fact that you see Dr. Loomis, CG Dr. Loomis, but it was well done, is really, really cool and a really great surprise. And I was so, I love that. And I love the fact that they catch Michael, and then it zooms out like the original Halloween at the beginning where Michael kills his sister, and it zooms out on the parents looking at him with a knife. It does the same thing in this, where it shows Michael being trapped by all the cops and Loomis behind him, and then it zooms out like the camera shot, and that's really, really cool. And that opening is just genuinely so fantastic, and I loved it. I thought that was great. I thought the middle of the movie was fine, but I don't know. I feel like it had a lot of good kills, but I feel like that's all I remember. The third act was not the best third act, but I liked it. I really liked the thing with Karen where she takes Michael's mask, runs away with it, and they trap Michael, and the gang, Tommy Doyle and the gang and Brackett go and fight Michael, but then Michael slaughters every single one of them, and they are all dead. Um, and then Karen goes upstairs and like in the Myers house and just gets butchered by Michael. And that was a genuine surprise that Karen just gets butchered. And I really wonder where they're going to go now with Karen gone in the next one. But I love the opening. I like the ending. The middle is okay. I didn't you might be able to tell that I didn't talk much about Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode in this movie. Well, they pulled a Halloween 2, 1981 again. Laurie is literally in the hospital the whole movie, and it's weird because it's weird that they've replicated that because she has more dialogue in this than she does in the original Halloween 2. But she stays in the hospital the whole movie, and I just thought that's so weird. And I understand that they kept her there to heal her, and because the next movie, she and Michael are gonna have that fight to the death. I feel like that's gonna happen, even though they had that twist saying like, "Oh, Laurie, you're not important." It was Patton, or it was Frank who got Michael taken away because he thought Loomis thought Michael killed again, but it's weird with Laurie not. She's in the movie enough, but she doesn't do anything. She has good scenes though. Jamie Lee Curtis does fantastic, even just in a bed, like just talking to Frank. Like that's great, and I like that her and Frank had a romantic connection, and I like how they mentioned Ben Tramer. I thought that was cool little reference, and maybe you might see Ben Tramer in the future, maybe in the next Halloween. Hopefully, that'd be great because he didn't die in Halloween 2 because that didn't exist now. Even though, funny enough, they showed flashbacks in this movie to whenever it was showing Lindsay and Tommy and Lonnie and Mary, and whenever it's showing them at that bar and they're talking about surviving the Halloween night 1978, it shows flashbacks to Annie getting murdered, to young Lindsay, to young Tommy, to young Lonnie, to young Marion. Um, and then it shows Chief Brackett crying over Annie's dead body, but that is footage from Halloween 2. So I love the fact that maybe parts of Halloween 2 still exist in the continuity. I feel like even though Michael was apprehended in this continuity, I think that Laurie was taken to the Haddonfield Hospital in the like in Halloween 2 in that time period, but then Michael didn't come, like because he was apprehended, and so that makes sense to have the Chief Brackett footage of him from Halloween 2, and it makes sense because in the original Halloween you didn't see Brackett finding Annie's body, and in this one it makes sense to use that footage. But I like how it opens up a can of worms where it's like, well, then what stuff did actually happen? Like, did Laurie get taken to Haddonfield Hospital still in Halloween, and like right after the first Halloween? I think she still did. She had to have been if they showed footage of Annie being taken away, like her body. So, but it was just funny that they used footage from Halloween 2, even though it doesn't exist in this universe. So I like how there might be a little bits and traces of 2, and I'm just a nerd for that. I like whenever I question stuff like that, especially with the Halloween franchise with its screwed up continuity. But I like that they used footage from Halloween 2. That was pretty funny. It makes sense though in the context of everything, but it just was like, oh, okay. I know that's not from the first movie. But like I said, Laurie Strode I think is good. Like I liked Jamie Lee Curtis again, but she just doesn't do much. They're saving it for the next movie. And I liked the things that they did with the survivors of the first Halloween movie that came back. I like how I like Tommy a lot. Like I said, I thought he was good, but he gets butchered at the end as well as Brackett. Marion gets killed quick. I was seriously like, are we doing this again? Like, she literally gets murdered again quick, just like in Halloween H2O. Like, she's gone for good again. And Lindsay is the only survivor out of the 4 because Lonnie gets killed as well at the end of the movie. So Lindsay's the only one that survives. So in the next movie, she's gonna come back and reappear, and I think that means that maybe she's like the third girl, if they have like a trio of girls because Karen got killed. So it's maybe like Laurie and Allison and Lindsay maybe now that are gonna fight Michael Myers. I'm assuming, since Karen's gone, but she's the only one that survived. Everybody else just gets butchered. Like every single character from the original, like the survivors, like they're all gone. And I did like that they kept Frank alive, Will Patton. That was good. I like that. And again, I like that romantic connection between him and Laurie. Like I thought that was actually felt pretty genuine without seeing any of that backstory. Like, I thought that worked really well with their dialogue and their acting. It was really good. I think that overall, like I said, I like a lot of stuff about it, but I just feel like it suffers from being a lot of weird strands of storyline too. Like, there is a scene where in Haddonfield Hospital they lock everybody down because Michael Myers is out on the streets again because he survived the fire. And then the other inmate that was in the first in Halloween 2018, the other inmate from Halloween 2018 that escaped was Michael off the bus. People think he's Michael Myers, and Karen's like, no, no, he's not. And then they chase this guy, and then this inmate just commits suicide and jumps off of a building. And I'm literally like, that character didn't need to be in this movie. That character didn't matter at all. Like, what does that even have to do with anything? Like, besides the fact that it made Karen make a sad face that, like, maybe I can't say maybe in the next movie, Karen's dead. I'm like, does that mean that if Karen would be alive in the next movie, that she would, like, be the voice of reason? Because, like, these people scared off an inmate that they thought was Michael Myers, but he wasn't, and he committed suicide. So I wonder, but they can't do that because Karen died in the end of this movie. She got killed. So, like, what's the point of this random inmate, like, killing himself off, jumping off the building? Like, besides the fact that they're saying, oh, these crowds are bad, like doing crowd violence is bad, and I understand that idea, but I just feel like the crowd violence idea, it's just kind of a dumb idea, and I don't think it was executed that well. Like I said, it just feels like it's in too much of real life with how stupid we are with politics and, like, how both sides of politics ruin everything. And I feel like this one just kind of sits that notion that everybody's horrible, which I already hear in real life, so I don't want to have that here. So it's just kind of unfortunate. I wasn't a big fan of the crowd violence thing, even though I understand their intent of it, but it just felt weird. It didn't feel that great. I also love the song in the end credits by Ghost, and I have friends who love the band Ghost, and I love that song, Hunter's Moon. It was fantastic, and it worked great for the end credits. I want to listen to that band more because I love that song, but the ending credits was awesome. The score was good, but I feel like there isn't as much of a catchy, memorable tune like the last one. Like in the last one, I remember a lot more of the score. But again, I've only seen this movie once, so maybe I feel like I'll feel different. But like I said, this one is just a mixed bag for me because, conclusion, love the gore, love Michael Myers, love the performances of the main three, love the opening. Opening was fantastic. I like the ending. The bad, a lot of weird, loose story strands. The group violence story. The fact that it feels like nothing is of consequence in this movie, and the slashing is fun, but it just feels like the movie felt forgettable. Like, I feel like it's a forgettable one in the franchise. And that's a sad thing because, again, like, we got so hyped up. People loved and people hated Halloween 2018, but people were hyped for this one. And there's some people who love this movie, think it's a masterpiece, and that's awesome. More power to you, but I just couldn't get behind loving it. I thought it was fine. It wasn't anything amazing. It wasn't anything bad. You heard my good things. You heard my bad things. If you look at it one way, it's a great, fun movie with Michael Myers killing people. And if you look at it another way, it's a forgettable movie with characters that don't evolve, and like they did in the last one. But again, we got the third movie, so this feels like a movie that's just biding time till the third one. So that's how I feel about it. It was fine. Nothing I loved, but nothing I hated. Some great things, some okay things. That's it. If I had to rank this in the franchise, this would be straight down the middle. Because I'm going to try to rank these by memory. First one I love. Second one, or 1981, Halloween 2 is the second one. Number 3 is H2O. Then 4. Then 3, Season of the Witch. Then Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Then this one, Halloween Kills. Then Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. Then Halloween 6. Then 5. Then Resurrection. So it is straight down the middle. Halloween Kills. I'm still excited for the next one. I'm not disappointed in how I didn't love this movie. I still thought it was fine. I'm still definitely buying it whenever it comes out on 4K, but it just felt like a slight disappointment. Nothing, not a big disappointment, but I felt like it was a slight disappointment. So here's to the next one. Like I said, I still have fun at these, so I still enjoyed it overall. But I'm rambling now, so let's finish off this video. And like I said, I've got more videos coming, more 31 Days of Horror throughout the whole month. So I'll see you guys in the next video.